Hi besties and welcome to my channel. My name is Tanner and this is my Esoterica, where I aim to bring you guys comfort and guidance from a place of comfort. My bed. This is going to be a timeless them and you reading for the sign of Libra. So it is my intention that this reading will find you when you need it. When you're dealing with an intense kind of soul connection or romantic connection that you just kind of can't shake and are looking for a little bit of extra insight and guidance about. So yeah, I'm actually really excited to be here with you guys today because this is my last zodiac reading. I'm pretty new to content creation and stuff, so it's been a learning experience doing these 12 readings for you guys. But all of that to say, how this reading will go is we will pull a Wisdom of the Oracle card first to kind of get a better understanding of the energies surrounding you, your person, and the energy between you. After that, we will figure out kind of what you're embodying with an archetype card, what kind of energy you're embodying, and we'll also pull an animal spirit card as well to get a little bit deeper into that. After that, we will further clarify all of those energies with a 3-card tarot pull. We'll talk about that a little, and then I'll further clarify with a different tarot deck with 2 cards. So we'll end up with 3-card readings for you, for your person, and for the energy between you. As we wrap up our reading, I will pull a Sacred Creators Oracle card just to kind of sum up everything, give you guys kind of like a final closing message from Spirit. And then we'll close off your reading with a final Wisdom of the Oracle pull for Spirit's advice for you, our Libra viewer. So without trying to drag things out too much, we'll just go ahead and get into it. So thank you again for being here, Libra. If this reading resonates with you, I would love it if you would like, share, comment, subscribe, do all of that fun stuff. I love to hear from you guys, and I'm excited to build up this community with you. So let's get started. Hello, Spirit. Thank you to all the guides and angels that are here helping me with this reading today. Can we please get a card for our Libra viewers' energies? What energies are currently surrounding them when it comes to this connection and things going on in general? Thank you, Spirit. What is the energy surrounding our Libra viewer? Chop wood. And it's funny because it came out in reverse. So I'll read the protection message with this as well, but I don't typically take these cards in reverse. But we'll keep that in mind for your reading. But chopping wood basically sounds like you're doing the hard work. You're doing work that no one wants to do. Perhaps you're working on, clearing out your triggers or, just other things. I feel like you're kind of, just busy doing the difficult work. And that could be, physical work, that could be emotional work, that could be shadow work. But that's the sense I get for you just off the bat. I'll, of course, read from the guidebooks as well, just because sometimes I don't really get what the message is saying. And I don't mean it like that, but I mean, like, a lot of these messages mean things you wouldn't think they mean just looking at the cards at face value. But all of that to say, I feel like you're doing some work right now, Libra. You're doing the hard work that nobody wants to do, however that applies to you and however that resonates. So thank you, Spirit. Can we go ahead and get 1 card for our Libra person's viewer? No, our Libra viewer's person's energy. It's a tongue twister every time I say it. What energy is our Libra viewer's person in? The person that they're connected to. What energy are they in when it comes to this connection? What energy is our Libra viewer's person in? So your person got why. So it seems like they're questioning a lot of things right now in their world. They're trying to find the deeper meaning and kind of pull things back. But if you look at this card, you can see this book kind of has wings. So like, for your person, it feels like their answers feel elusive to them, or like they can't quite grab onto them. So they're searching for some sort of deeper meaning. Thank you, Spirit. Can we please get one more card for the energies between our Libra viewer and their person? What are the energies between our Libra viewer and their person? What are the energies between our Libra viewer and their person? Breathe. So this is very interesting. This hasn't come out for in between energy yet, but it has come out a lot for advice. So what breathe means is just kind of what it sounds like, you know, taking a step back, you know, finding a sense of calm, recentering yourself, giving yourself space to breathe. So maybe that's what's happening with you guys right now. There's space between you, but it's giving you kind of like the opportunity to look inwards and, you know, do this chopped wood work that you're working on. But it's giving you both space to grow and change and evolve in your own ways. And it kind of seems like it's working for your person too. I mean, you're doing the work and they're asking themselves why. So very interesting start to your reading, Libra. Let's go ahead and get into this chopped wood energy. This is number 42. And I remember it came out in reverse, so we'll read that message for you too. So chopped wood is being grounded in everyday experience and humility. So the oracle's message here is there are times when the big dream is meant to lie dormant in your consciousness so that you can pay attention to the simple chores in your life. Consider why pruning a tree is the forerunner, of delighting in the beautiful blooms. Oh my goodness. Consider why pruning a tree is the forerunner of delighting in the beautiful blooms when it is in full blossom. The mundane act of pulling off dead leaves, watering the soil, and then leaving it to be to let nature take its course is an important step in manifestation. Taking your attention away from your goal brings you into a state of receptivity. This is the deeper purpose for releasing attachment. When you engage in everyday tasks in a meditative, contemplative way, you clear your energy to receive your aha moments, which bring you ever closer to what you seek. So interesting. It seems like this is, I mean, it's kind of what I was saying, right? This says, you know, consider why pruning the tree is the forerunner of delighting in when it blossoms. So, like, you're doing the work, you're kind of pruning your own tree, the tree of your body, of your emotional self. And that's giving you space to bloom eventually. So, the relationship message here is nothing is as important right now as just doing what you need to do day to day. Let your heart remember that not everything has to be hard won, passionate, or even obviously meaningful. Relationships and friendships go through lulls when the everyday tasks are at the center of awareness. That is perfect now. Hold hands, wash dishes, make a fire, read a book, share a meal, say nothing, stare into space, pick up socks, tell a dumb joke, and leave space to breathe. And we haven't even gotten to this breathe card yet. Okay. The work of your relationship right now is very simple. Just be present. Funny how it takes work to just be. All is well, really. And the protection message here, since this came out in reverse for you. Are you an armchair astronaut? Do you dream of wealth and fame, big ideas, inventions, or desires with a capital D? The appearance of this card, in reverse, is a sign that you might be devoting far too much time to dreaming and talking about your dreams. You have to get out of the chair to make things happen. You actually have to do something. Start with a small task. Remember, the big dream becomes reality only after you have begun to take incremental steps. Mythologist Joseph Campbell once said, take one step towards the gods and they will take 10 steps towards you. So I feel like this message is saying, like, are you just kind of getting lost in your fantasies, or are you making plans to actually do something about it? But yeah, overall, Libra, it seems like, you know, you're doing the hard work. Like I said before, you're pruning your own trees, you're kind of making way for new life to kind of bloom within you. And you're not really focusing on this relationship as much maybe as you used to. You're very much focused on your day-to-day tasks and just kind of, taking things as they come. So yeah, that's the energy surrounding you right now, Libra. Oh, I should also say, if you find yourself resonating more with the side I'm saying is your person's energy, then just kind of switch things around. Energy is fluid, and so you might resonate more with the Y side. But let's get to that now that we're here. Y for your person's energy. This is number 31. So why? The essential meanings of why are motives, driving, intention, the power of knowing the why. So the Oracle's message here is there is great power in understanding your motives right now. The Oracle asks you to be very clear about why you're asking this question, looking for this answer, behaving in this way, and most important, making this choice. Knowing your why is the key to fulfillment. When you are clear about it, your intention will then be a magnet for miracles. Motives define the nature of your experience. When you think about something, feel it, and then act on it. This invisible why is the life force energy within the seed, which brings it to life and holds the potential for growth. So yeah, your person's kind of trying to understand the deeper meanings of why they're doing the things that they're doing. Could be a good sign if you guys are in a sort of push-pull dynamic. It means your person is actually trying to figure out why perhaps they've run from you, if the twin flame stuff resonates with you. But the relationship message here is we don't always know why we engage in our relationships in the way we do, mostly because our feelings aren't always logical. Now is the time to recognize whether you are being triggered by someone else or if your behavior is motivated by unresolved issues in the past. What did I just say? When you ask yourself, why am I feeling like this? And why did I say that? And spend some time in introspection, the answers may be surprising. Listen to the messages from your intuition, from the knowing deep within you. What does it tell you about yourself and others? In the end, life is all about being loved. Miracles and a deep understanding of your needs and how to get them met are the buried treasures of the why. Uncover them by posing the most powerful question you can ask yourself and your partner today. Why? So yeah, it seems like your person is questioning their motives. Why are they doing the things that they're doing? Why are they triggered the way they are, perhaps by this connection? All right, let's look at the energy between you, this breathe card. So the essential meanings here are patience, waiting, going slowly, wellness, meditation, and trust. And the Oracle's message is patience in all things is called for right now. What do you need to do when you're in a rush? Slow down, of course. Meditate and trust. Breathe and repeat. Humans cannot exist without drawing breath. Now is the time to allow the life-giving element of air to replenish your body, your being, and your very essence. Stop to smell the roses, breathe in the sunlight, and release the darkness, and miracles will appear. For the relationship message, it says, don't be in too much of a hurry right now. The heart needs time to open, I guess for both of you. Take a breath and let nature take its course. Release constriction and anxiety, for there is no need for tension. Savor the moment, and the waiting won't prove difficult. Your heart knows what the ego often resists learning. Patience pays off in deep and meaningful ways. So yeah, it seems like you guys are kind of in this kind of rest period as far as at least, the energy between you is concerned, because it seems like you're both kind of focusing on the deeper layers of things. For you, it's, like we said, pruning and giving yourself room to really clear stuff out and grow into the new version of yourself. And for your person, they're trying to understand their motivations more. They're doing shadow work as well, but in sort of a different way. I feel like you're more in the active kind of doing the work phase, and they're kind of more in the beginning of questioning. But yeah, with this breathe energy between you, again, I feel like, this lull in your connection is giving you guys the space to grow and evolve and change on your own, which is exactly what needs to happen. So hopefully one day, you guys can come back stronger and more sure of yourselves and what you want from each other and this relationship. So cool. Very interesting place to start, Libra. I'm going to go ahead and pull an archetype card for you and for your person. So this will just kind of give us an insight into how you are feeling, what energy you are embodying, more so than like the wisdom cards. I feel like the wisdom cards are good for the energies around a situation, but these next two decks, the what did I say this was? The archetypes and the animal cards, they're good at getting specific energy that you're in, if that makes sense. But we're going to go ahead and pull one for you. Thank you, Spirit, for your guidance so far. Can we please get one archetype card for our Libra viewer? What archetype are they currently embodying right now when it comes to this connection and in general? Well, you got two. Ink. More than two? No. So you got the Mystic and the Medallion. Interesting. The Mystic is all about kind of transmuting darkness into light, which is kind of what you're doing again with this chopped wood. You're looking inwards, you're figuring out the things that you need to, release and change in order to grow, and you're doing that. You're finding your light. You're transmuting your darkness into light. This is also a card that kind of signifies a light worker. So you might identify with being a light worker or, something along those lines. The medallion is interesting. The medallion is about like medallions or like some sort of trinkets could be significant for you and for this connection. But I feel like a lot of this is about kind of like tradition in a way. It's interesting. This one hasn't come up for me very much, but we'll read it from the guidebook that I have here as well. But it's like, what are you passing down? If that makes sense. Like what kind of things are you holding on to that might be holding you back in a way, but that you feel like you've kind of carried forever? If that makes sense too. I don't know. Very interesting. But we'll read it from the book in just a second. Thank you, Spirit. Can we please get an archetype card for our Libra viewers' person's energy? What archetype are they currently embodying at this time when it comes to this connection and in general? Thank you, Spirit. I was like, a very specific card wants to come out. Your person is embodying the eternal child. So this is interesting energy too, because, perhaps your person is kind of like this kind of fun, playful kind of life of the party energy. But the eternal child can be kind of reckless. They don't want to grow up. They don't want to accept responsibility in a lot of ways. And, they're fun to be around for sure. But there is this sense of kind of like naivete or like, just not being very grounded in life. And maybe that's why what they're starting to ask why about, why do they feel so ungrounded or like they don't want to buckle down or commit to anything. They just kind of want to be free and wild and enjoy what life, has to offer. But perhaps meeting you changed that for them. Maybe, they met you and they were like, oh my goodness, why am I always acting this way? Why am I scared of commitment as well? But let's look at the archetype guidebook for the mystic for you, which has come up a few times in the reading, so I have a better understanding of that than the medallion. But here's the mystic. So the seeker, the light worker, the dreamer. The mystic is often misunderstood in our culture, depicted as a wandering or light-hearted daydreamer. Yet, like Shiva, the true mystic plays a critical role in society, remaining fearlessly dedicated to the path of transformation. In order to save the earth from darkness, Shiva swallows the poison of the world and holds it in his throat, slowly transmuting the liquid into nectar. This is the work of the mystic. They do not fear darkness, but rather sit in the presence of it, harness the potential and latent energy behind it, and embed it with light. They are patient and prudent changemakers, seeking growth above all else. Unanswerable questions are the mystic's lifeblood. The mystic revels in mystery, in the great riddle of life, dancing with the forces of light and dark upon its wings. So yeah, I get the sense with that you're really kind of removing the darkness from yourself, which is giving you space and room to grow into the highest version of yourself. So let's look at the medallion, which I am not as familiar with, admittedly so. I have read all of these guidebooks, of course, but some of these stick more than others. So the medallion here is the amulet, the talisman, the heirloom. These are other kind of archetypes that they're related to. So the passing on of sacred objects is an ancient ritual within families, between lovers, and in tribes across the globe. We gift jewels, treasures, keepsakes, and mementos of all kinds, some of great material value, others that hold emotional resonance, and still others with both. Yet when these gifts are bestowed upon us, it is important to recognize that they may bind us to an unspoken agreement or promise. When the medallion appears, be aware of how the objects you hold dear may be embedded with unconscious energy or expectations. So maybe there is something like a little trinket or something that maybe your person has given you. Like maybe you have like a hoodie or like a shirt of theirs or something. And maybe you're a little too attached to it. That probably won't resonate for everybody. It may not, but perhaps for somebody out there. Anyways, materials hold consciousness, and it's time to reconcile the vibration of the objects around you. What do you covet and collect? And in a bigger way, I mean, not thinking about medallions or like physical things, like what do you covet and collect in relationships? What do you hold on to within yourself that you think, makes you who you are, but is actually kind of holding you back in some way, shape, or form? Why? Is there so why do you covet and collect these things? Why do you hold on so tightly to these things? Is there an object you have held onto for years that you are ready to release? Or a person or a situation or something along those lines? I'm extrapolating, but perhaps it is time to reach for the medallion that aligns with your deepest values. So yeah, this is about kind of like upholding tradition. So maybe there's like, medallions are passed down through families, right? A lot of the time. So maybe, a lot of the stuff that you're working towards and through right now is breaking generational curses or things that, are from your family line. Yeah, it says upholding tradition, protecting, honoring when light, and then when dark or in the reverse, the medallion is a burdensome inheritance or habituation. So I feel like, you're kind of doing the hard work of transmuting your, ancestral karma. That's kind of what I'm getting for you, which is very powerful work. And, not everyone has the inner strength to do that. Or they like fold under the pressure too. It can be a lot. So kudos to you, Libra. You're doing the hard work. Keep it up. All right, we're going to look at this eternal child for your person's energy here. The eternal child is number 4. So the eternal child is the inner child or the child of joy. So the eternal child is connected to the timeless, ageless, and infinite aspects of life. It is radiant and fearless and seeks joy above all else and at any cost. It struggles being bound to an aging body with physical limitations in a world that demands attention to detail and logistics. The eternal child wants to nix all rules and responsibility and go beyond what others say is possible. It wants to return, with plenty of friends, to the land of the free, where divine wine and creativity pour from the earth and the sky. We all want to sip from the well of eternal youth, and this makes the eternal child naturally popular, perhaps even famous. The eternal child glimmers. It reminds us of what is possible and is magical about this precious life, about what is magical in this precious life. So yeah, it seems like your person, in general is kind of like this fun to be around, maybe a little reckless, maybe a little naive, but like everyone loves them, sort of life is a party kind of vibes. But perhaps that has been what's holding them back from, wanting to commit fully to this scenario or situation, because it would mean having to grow up in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like the eternal child is kind of really fearful of growing up and of accepting responsibility for things. But I feel like, again, your person is at the precipice, the threshold of asking why. They're really starting to examine this aspect of themselves. And we'll see what comes out in tarot in a few minutes as well. But I like how this is coming together so far. It feels like, both of you are doing the work. Oops. And this is a great place to be. All right, Spirit, we're going to get into animal spirit cards now. So thank you, Spirit, for your guidance and support so far. Can we please get an animal spirit card for our Libra viewer? What animal spirit are they currently embodying? What animal spirit is our Libra viewer currently embodying? Ooh, the gazelle. So this is fire energy. Very graceful. I feel like very intuitive and aware as well. We'll read from the book in just a moment. But fire signs could be, what's the word? Pertinent. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Maybe your person is this, or maybe you're just kind of embracing fire energy, transformation and change. Well, let's look at your person's animal card. Thank you, Spirit. Can we get an animal card for our Libra viewer's person's energy? What animal spirit are they currently embodying right now? The fox. So maybe a little sly, maybe a little kind of elusive, but they're very dedicated people. I know the fox card in particular is about good partnerships, or like someone who would make an excellent partner. So maybe that's, how you view your person as well. Maybe you think that they are, or they have the potential to be a really good partner. But let's look at the book. So for you, you got the gazelle. Here we go. Heightened awareness and ability. There we go. Vulnerable. The gazelle represents supreme grace. With every move, this awe-inspiring beauty, so maybe you're very physically attractive as well, emits sophistication and elegance. I mean, that's very Libra coded, so it makes sense. Gazelle personalities are often hyper-aware of their surroundings, bordering on hyper-vigilant. And this can inhibit them from enjoying the beauty they've spent so much effort cultivating. No more worrying about all those predators out there in the wild. When this card appears, it's time to get back to the present moment. Sit down, find your breath, and acknowledge the bounty that surrounds you. Let it nourish your gentle spirit. So yeah, it seems like, perhaps you've been kind of focusing too much on your external world and how, maybe stressful or just draining maybe, this connection is, or just other things going on in your life maybe. But this card says, no more worrying about all those predators out there in the wild. It's time to get back to the present moment. So if you've had this sort of, distracted, scattered energy, I feel like, that's something that you are working on, because, you're doing the hard work here. You're chopping wood. You're also transmuting your pain into nectar, your darkness into light, with this mystic card too. So I feel like, if you're feeling anxious about anything, or about how this journey is maybe going so far for you, or this connection or anything like that, just take a step back for a minute. You don't have to strong arm this. Things are going to unfold naturally. Um, in fact, if you try to strong arm stuff, it's going to make things worse and draw things out for longer. The only thing you can really do is work on yourself and surrender. And you're definitely doing the work on yourself. So, sit down, breathe, recenter, refocus. You're doing all the right stuff, Libra. So just keep taking it one day at a time. That's what I'll say. So when in balance, it says, graceful, perceptive, artistic. When out of balance, insomnia, racing mind could be pertinent for you. So yeah, maybe you're thinking too much about all this stuff. But to bring into balance, if you need this, it says do some yin yoga, which I love to do personally. Stay cozy at home, eat some good food if you're feeling anxious and stuff like that. Anyway, let's go look at the fox. This is air energy. So Libra, hey, that's you. Aquarius, Gemini. Oh no, this isn't. Hold on, I might have effed you up. It's not air energy. The fox is earth. I'm so sorry. It's these triangles that they have. I'm trying to figure them out still with the lines. Okay, let's find the fox. Smart, strong partner or mate, wise teacher. So the fox, for your person, is an enchanting creature with plenty of mystique to go around. Fox personalities are skillful in business and also make great teachers. They are quick to turn and to learn, I don't know why I can't read, and adapt well to new situations. Foxes are ideal life partners as they commit to relationships for the long term, and their natural charisma keeps things exciting. Fox energies help us to stay true to those most dear to us. When this card appears, reconnect to those you love. Even the universe is saying your person should be reaching out to you. That's so funny. Foxes don't do well when they slip away. So I feel like, your person is understanding that they're not really a loner. Maybe they feel like they should be, or they try to be, but they need somebody. They need a partner. Foxes don't do really well when they're alone. They need something. They need somebody. But your person's probably, or you perceive them to be, or they perceive themselves to be kind of smart, and very adaptable people. I mean, with the eternal child card, I feel like you'd have to, that begets some sort of flexibility, I think. So yeah, when the fox is in balance, they're magical, they're ingenious teachers, monogamous. When they're out of balance, though, they're sneaky and unsure of their identity, which I feel like maybe is reflective of your partner's energies right now too, especially with this Y energy surrounding them. It's like they're unsure of who they are and what they want really. So they're asking themselves the deeper questions so they can figure that stuff out for themselves. And it's funny because to bring the fox into balance, it says partnership and connection. So I feel like, your person maybe just even subconsciously does want to kind of reach out to you, but I feel like they're holding back right now because they're still trying to figure out themselves. But we'll see what comes out in the tarot, which is where we're going next. I also want to tell you guys that I did pre-shuffle all of these decks as well. I did a reading for Aquarius about a week ago, and my microphone died, so I had to do a voiceover for the whole thing, which is neither here nor there. But I realized how long I take shuffling on camera, so now I'm trying to do it off camera, but I still like to switch it up a little bit, shuffle it up a little bit so people don't think I'm lying or cheating. I do not know what cards are going to come out. But okay, let's go ahead and get into the tarot, starting with our Libra viewers side, this chopped wood energy. Can we please further clarify the energies on our Libra viewers side, Spirit? Thank you. Please further clarify the energies on our Libra viewers side with this chopped wood energy. Ooh. The Devil popped out in reverse, and none of these cards are in reverse right now. I usually don't take them in reverse, but the Nine of Cups. So very much focusing on your own happiness. One more card, please, Spirit, for our Libra viewers' energy. King of Swords. Okay. I kind of love your energy, Libra. We'll talk about it in a second. Thank you, Spirit. Can we further clarify the energies on our Libra viewers' person side? Please further clarify the energies on our Libra viewers' person side, the person they're connected to. Please further clarify this Y energy. Temperance, thank you. Please further clarify. Woo! Four of Cups came out in reverse. Thank you, Spirit. One more. Knight of Swords. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Can we please get one final 3-card pull for the energy between our Libra viewer and their person? What energies are between them right now? This breathe energy. Please further clarify this breathe energy. Ten of Swords. The Moon. Woo! And the Six of Wands. Interesting. All right, so let's start with your side. So you got the Devil in reverse, which is the first card. I can't show you because they're very naked and YouTube will get mad at me. But what the Devil in reverse is about is overcoming toxic situations or thought patterns, habits, all that stuff. It's breaking free from the chains of toxic habits. That's what the Devil is. Or, toxic thought cycles, generational trauma that you're carrying. It's breaking free of those scenarios, those types of situations. So whatever kind of toxicity or, patterns or habits that have been holding you down, I feel like you're working on overcoming those and working on finding your own self fulfillment and happiness and success with this Nine of Cups, your own emotional, fulfillment. The Nine of Cups is all about, enjoying the fruits, the emotional rewards of doing the hard work. This guy's, a merchant, and he started at the bottom, and now he's, kind of made it. And that's why he's kind of really proudly displaying his 9 cups. And 9 is almost the end of the suit. It's the end of the journey. So I feel like, you're really approaching the end of this kind of like emotional cycle. And after the 9 is the 10 of Cups. So I feel like you're definitely working your way towards having harmonious relationships and partnerships. But first, you're focusing on yourself and your own fulfillment, which is exactly what you should be doing. And your third card here was the King of Swords. So the King of Swords is all about, truth and justice. He's very logical. He's very, of the mind, in the mind, very discerning. But he's also very honest and true. So I feel like, you're, becoming honest with yourself. You're stepping into your power here with the King. And you're kind of figuring out, the mind, like what's working for you, what's not working for you. You're finding your own inner truth. And, with this sword too, I feel like you're chopping wood, but you're cutting stuff off that doesn't serve you anymore. So that's beautiful energy, Libra. Let's go ahead and look at your person's energy. So their first card they got was Temperance. So Temperance is all about, finding balance again. It's also about transformation and like alchemizing and changing things in that way, transmuting. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like your energy, transmuting pain into pleasure, or, you know, something along those lines. This is the symbol for fire, and fire is transformation and change. And it also looks like, you know, there's, you know, this little sun on the angel's forehead, you know, their third eye. So your person may be having some sort of like spiritual awakening or growth as well. With the Four of Cups in reverse here, so the Four of Cups is all about kind of being like ruminating on stuff, focusing on things that you can't change or that are making you unhappy, but so much so, I should say, that you're ignoring the gifts that the universe is trying to give you, the emotional gifts, this is the Ace of Cups here. So the universe has maybe been trying to give your person a new um, emotional beginning, but they've kind of been ruminating on stuff and, you know, not really paying attention. But with this coming up in reverse, it's kind of like overcoming that energy, you know, looking up from the disappointments maybe that they've been facing and being open to surprises and changes from the universe, not being so apathetic and like maybe a little emotionally withdrawn or, you know, just low vibes in general. So I feel like your person is kind of coming out of this, um, you know, apathetic sort of energy, and they're really opening themselves up more to outside information, to um, outside opportunities to learn and grow. I mean, you know, they're asking themselves why. So I feel like, you know, they're coming out of this apathetic energy and they're ready to open their eyes, become more aware and do the work that they need to do. With this Knight of Swords, this is the last card we pulled for your person. This is all about kind of action. And, you know, I feel like, you know, your person is taking strong action. If you look, you know, this knight is charging straight into the fray, sword drawn. He's like not even afraid, even though the wind is blowing like right in his face, you know, there's resistance, but he doesn't care. He's just going for it. So I've, you know, going with this, you know, your person's kind of like waking up from apathy and like charging headfirst into, you know, growth and change. You know, they're not holding themselves back anymore. And I feel like they do have this urge to come towards you as well, because knights are messengers, right? And then this knight on your person's side is running towards you, towards your side. So I feel like, you know, your person is taking action in regards to, you know, doing the work that they need to do. I feel like they want to come towards you. They might have the impulse to, and maybe they'll do it impulsively. Um, but I feel like this is more about, you know, them charging towards their own truth, you know, figuring out, because again, the swords are all mental energy, right? Figuring out the whys, again, of their kind of maybe lesser, lower vibrational habits. That's not what I wanted to say originally, but it's close enough. So yeah, overall, I feel like your person is finding balance. You know, they're transforming. They are opening themselves up to new experiences and not dwelling so much on things that are holding them down. And they're ready to charge straight into the work here. They're not holding back. They're not, you know, tiptoeing around it. They're like eager to do it. Now, looking at the energy between you, we have the Ten of Swords, which is the end of painful cycles. So maybe, you know, there has been some sort of really big kind of betrayal as well between you guys. You know, this card also talks about being backstabbed or feeling like you've been backstabbed in a way. But if you also look at this, the hand gesture here, this is the same hand gesture that the Hierophant makes, and it's the gesture of a blessing. So this card also talks about something that's kind of like a blessing in disguise. And if you look in the background, you know, things seem kind of dark and dreary on the surface, right? But you can see a new day is dawning in the background. So, you know, perhaps there was something really painful here which caused your guys' separation. But I'm seeing that it was kind of a blessing in disguise, almost. And it's giving you guys, again, room to breathe on your own and kind of like let things unfold and change within yourselves. Like it's allowing you guys that space to let those processes take place. With the moon here, this is all about sort of not seeing things clearly, feeling confused. Also talks a lot about intuition, and it's divine feminine energy as well, because the moon is, feminine energy. Not as much to me as like the queens or the empress per se. But what I'm getting with this is that perhaps there's been some sort of, confusion. Maybe you guys haven't been seeing each other very clearly. When you get into these kind of, well, I feel like relationships in general, right? People always have, despite their best efforts, we all come to a relationship with expectations when we're unhealed, I want to say. And you really shouldn't. You just shouldn't. So maybe you guys, because you just don't know. You just don't know how a person's going to react, what they're capable of doing in a given moment. What they're capable of holding as well. So I feel like, maybe you guys just weren't seeing each other very clearly. If you guys had expectations of one another that just didn't quite match up with, how you really felt, or that didn't ring authentically true for you. So I feel like this is about, not seeing each other very clearly at the end of the day. But it's interesting because you also have the Six of Wands here. And this is all about, victory and success, and being recognized for your achievements, right? So I feel like this card, what it's saying is that you guys made each other feel seen in this way, even though you guys weren't seeing each other clearly for like what you both really were offering when you guys first came together. You guys made each other both feel really seen and valued and wanted by the other person. So, I do see that there's like, you guys make each other feel good, right? But again, with this kind of Ten of Swords and the moon here, there is a sense of betrayal and confusion still, of still not seeing each other clearly. But again, all of this has given you guys impetus and space to do the work on yourselves, which is exactly, again, what needs to happen in these sorts of scenarios. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and clarify all of the cards we just talked about with two more cards. So we'll get a deeper insight into what they all kind of mean. And then we'll pull your creator oracle cards, your closing messages, and we'll get your advice. So again, I've already shuffled these, but I'm going to blip them around a little bit. All right, thank you, Spirit. Let's go ahead and clarify all of these cards, starting with the Devil in reverse. Can we please further clarify the Devil in reverse for our Libra viewers' energy? Seven of Wands and Fool. Cool. So I'm just going to pull all these cards and we'll talk about it. Thank you, Spirit. Can we please further clarify the Nine of Cups here? Ooh, that one fell out quick. King of Pentacles here. So definitely focusing on your own stability and success. And the Chariot. Beautiful. Thank you, Spirit. Can we please further clarify this King of Swords energy for our Libra viewers? Thank you, Spirit. You got the Nine of Pentacles and the Devil. That's so interesting. You got the Devil twice on your side, once in reverse and once upright, clarifying this King. They're going to mean something slightly different when it's clarifying versus just like overarching energy, but we'll talk about it. Thank you, Spirit. Can we please further clarify these energies on our Libra viewers person side, starting with Temperance? Can we please further clarify this Temperance card? Thank you, Spirit. The Star. So they're finding, renewed hope and faith Thank you, Spirit. One more card for this Temperance and Star energy. The Knight of Cups. Very interesting. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Can we please further clarify the Four of Cups in reverse here? Well, I asked and it came out. So we got Death and Justice. That's funny how that happened. All right. Thank you, Spirit. Can we please now further clarify this Knight of Swords? Please further clarify this Knight of Swords on our Libra viewers' person's side. The Ten of Cups. And the Seven of Pentacles. Cool. Thank you. All right, Spirit. Last row. Can we please further clarify the Ten of Swords here? Nine of Wands. And the Lovers. Oh, goodness. All right, thank you, Spirit. Can we please further clarify this Moon energy? Please further clarify the Moon. Queen of Cups, and it popped out in reverse, so we'll honor that. Thank you, Spirit. Can we please get one more card for the Moon and this Queen of Cups in reverse? Ace of Wands and the Ten of Wands came out, or the Ten of Pentacles came out too, so I'll keep that to look at. Thank you, Spirit. Can we please further clarify the Six of Wands now? Please further clarify the Six of Wands. This energy between our Libra viewer and their person. Seven of Swords, interesting. Ooh. And Seven of Cups. Cool. Interesting. All right. Let's get started with your energy and clarifying this Devil in reverse here. First, you got the Seven of Wands here. So this is all about perseverance and, doing the hard work, battling, defending your spot, fighting for the things you believe in a sense, but also, just general fighting to overcome obstacles and protect what's yours. So I feel like, you've been doing the hard work of addressing your toxic habits and beliefs and things that maybe you've been carrying from, your family line. You're doing the hard work of looking inwards and shedding those beliefs, chopping wood, pruning the leaves so something beautiful can emerge. Because the third card here was the Fool, which is all about new beginnings and taking a leap of faith here. So I feel like, you've been doing the work. It's probably been hard. It's been a struggle. This is also the card of perseverance. Yeah. And so you're despite the obstacles, despite the challenges, you are doing the hard work to clear your traumas, right? And that's leading you to a new beginning, a brand new beginning. And whatever way that manifests itself for you, maybe a new emotional beginning, maybe a new renewed sense of self-worth, all that sort of stuff. With the Nine of Cups here, you got the King of Pentacles and the Chariot. So I feel like, you're finding your sense of stability and self-worth with this King, perhaps by doing all the shadow work that you've been doing, and it's leading you to a new sense of self-worth here and fulfillment and happiness and, accomplishment here with the King. You're finding your sense of stability. You're working on your, material world. You're finding comfort in yourself. Look at this King. He's so comfortable. He's the richest King in the deck. Look at his face. He ain't got nothing to worry about. So yeah, I feel like you're focusing on finding your own sense of stability in yourself, your own sense of self-worth, and you're charging forward into the world with the Chariot. This is all about moving forward in strong, powerful ways. Whew. So yeah, I feel like you're really, harnessing your willpower. You're, moving things forward. You're progressing towards stability and emotional fulfillment with the Nine. With the King, is interesting because, again, you got the Devil, which I can't show you because they're naked. How can I do this? So you got the Devil and the Knight of Pentacles, clarifying the King of Swords. So I feel like this is a little bit repeating kind of what has already come out. But you're stepping into your power. You are doing the work of examining, mental work, the things that are going on in your life. Perhaps you're drawing new boundaries that you haven't drawn before with certain people or situations or what have you. Like you are taking the axe to your traumas, to the negative things in your life, perhaps to the negative people you still have around you. I'm getting. I think this is saying that you have been doing the work with the Fool and the Devil in reverse. Like you are overcoming, but I guess there's still more work to do. You have more stuff to clear. Because the Devil showed up for you again. But I feel like now you're in a position of power, right? You are, coming for these toxic traits or habits or whatever, thought patterns, etc., etc. Like you're taking the sword to them and you're like, out of here. Don't mess with me no more. So I feel like you're, reclaiming your power in that way. You're like, come on, shadows, come get some. So yeah, very much in your power, very much, cutting the sword. Just, do it. Keep doing it. And then with the Knight of Pentacles being the third card that came out, this is like slow and steady progress, which I feel like is what you're making for yourself, right? Now, the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the deck. In fact, he's not even moving at all. But the Knight of Pentacles is very methodical in his work. He's very materially driven, and not even like money necessarily, but like physical pleasures, relationships, stuff like that. Not emotional like cups, but physical stuff. That's what pentacles represent. So I feel like, at the end of the day, what this is saying is this work that you're doing, this clearing out that you're doing, is going to be slow and steady work. It's not all going to happen overnight. But if you just stay the course and stay persistent and keep moving, eventually, if you look here, all of these fields have been tilled and planted. You just kind of have to wait for things to blossom already. Like you're doing the work, you've done the hard stuff, you're still doing the hard stuff. And, you're moving forward. You are moving forward. Maybe it's just not at the speed perhaps you are wishing or hoping. But, this is hard work you're doing. It's not something that's going to come overnight. It's not going to be easy necessarily. But you're doing it at the end of the day. And that's what matters. You're transmuting your lights or your darkness into light. Maybe you're a little jumpy, maybe you're a little scattered, maybe you're, you need to take a minute to center yourself here and there. But you're doing the work. You're doing the work and you're doing it with power, with the king. Period. All right, so let's look at your person's energy. Clarifying this temperance, this balance, they got the Star and the Knight of Cups. So the Star is naked as well. A lot of naked cards have popped up. Maybe that's significant somehow. But yeah, so with this balance that they're finding, again, there's also a sense of renewed hope and faith that things are going to work out in some way, shape, or form. And with this Knight of Cups, this is the most romantic knight in the deck. This is like a love offer coming in. So I feel like, your person is finding balance and they have faith in that this love connection that you have can be renewed if they decide to come towards you, when they decide to come towards you. Because the Knight of Cups doesn't show up unless somebody is coming in with an offer, with a love offer of some sort, typically speaking. But I feel like, this could also be just like how your person feels about you, like they want to be your knight in shining armor in some way, shape, or form. Perhaps they're very charming, or you find them very charming, creative, intuitive. But yeah, overall, I feel like, your person's finding a sense of balance, and this balance that they're finding within themselves is giving them the hope that they'll be able to come towards you with a love offer. That's what I get with this. With the Four of Cups in reverse, your person got Death and Justice. So I feel like, this kind of overcoming this apathetic kind of mentality that maybe they've been in the past but are overcoming now, since it's in reverse, has led to some sort of radical change and transformation. Because with death, that's leaving something behind, to make space for something new and beautiful to emerge, right? And with justice, this is all about taking accountability and, finding balance and, being fair. So I feel like, whatever things your person is overcoming, dwelling on, I feel like they've had some sort of rebirth within their emotional world with the cups. So they've had some sort of big kind of transformation, or some sort of big transformation is taking place. And I feel like they know they need to bring balance to the situation. They need to be fair to this situation. Maybe they need to be accountable for something. I mean, with this Ten of Swords, both of you guys in some way, shape, or form felt some sort of painful ending. So if it was your person's stuff that caused this separation, then know that they need to be the ones to take the steps to make things right. You just keep working on chopping your wood, Libra. But let's look at their last cards. With this Knight of Swords here, they got the Ten of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles. So I feel like, it's funny because again, you got the Nine of Cups, but they have the 10. So they want this happy, harmonious connection with you, and they are charging towards it. You guys, your person has two knights on their side, which again are messengers. So I feel like maybe your person is trying to figure out how to come towards you. They want to really badly. They want to just run with this knight here. Very ambitious, very driven, doesn't take shortcuts. They just go for it. But they want to charge toward this happiness, this happy ending, if you will, with you. But something, is making them pause, I want to say. Because the Seven of Pentacles here, one of my tarot readers that I watch, Minnow Pond, whenever the Seven of Pentacles comes out, he always says, is the juice worth the squeeze? Because this person's growing pentacles, right? Like they're grapes, but they're pentacles. And all the hard work of planting, of tilling, of tending is done, or is being done. But it's like looking on it, this person's like, has it been worth it? Like, is all this work going to be worth it in the end? So I feel like, your person is, yeah, here it says long-term view, hard work, perseverance, diligence, sustainable results, investment. So I feel like your person is kind of looking at things in the long term, but also trying to figure out, is it worth it to even try to come towards you and have this happy ending if, there's been some sort of big falling out between you? They're like, is it going to be worth it to even try to come toward Libra for this happy ending? Or should I just kind of stay in my lane and do my own thing? So I feel like your person is trying to kind of like weigh how much they have a chance, if that makes sense, to come towards you and have this happily ever after kind of vibe with you. But I do sense that, your person does want to come towards you. They want to make things right. And they have hope and faith that maybe you'll be receptive to that. That's what the cards look like on their side. So let's go ahead and get to the energy between you here. So clarifying the Ten of Swords here, we have the Nine of Wands and then the Lovers, which again, I cannot show you because they are naked. I have not had all the naked cards like this pop out yet at all. So maybe there's a strong like physical attraction between you guys, if you know what I mean. But anyway, so with these two cards, with the Nine of Wands and the Ten of Swords, this is definitely saying that like some sort of big kind of thing happened that caused you guys to fall out. I'm sensing, because the Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior card. It's the card. It's like wanting to keep going, but already having gone through so much. You can see this guy. You know, he's been through battle. He's all beaten up, and he's got 9 wands behind him, sort of making a barrier. So perhaps, you know, a boundary has been drawn up between you guys in some way, shape, or form as well. But, you know, I feel like these two together are saying, you know, I'm tired and I'm beaten up from some sort of horrible, kind of tragic ending. But again, with the Lovers here, it's like you guys still can't help but feel this kind of soul connection towards each other. And, you know, the Lovers is also about a choice having to be made. So I feel like, you know, you guys know that a choice has to be made at the end of the day, whether you guys both want to, you know, give another shot to this opportunity despite all of the craziness or the pain that has been caused on both sides here. But there's still this undeniable kind of draw and pull you guys have towards each other. With the Lovers there, this is like soul connection energy. So I feel like, you know, you both feel this connection with each other. But it's like, is that enough right now to offset all of the bad stuff that's happened up until this point, if that makes sense? So moving on to the Moon, we got the Queen of Cups in reverse and the Ace of Wands. And then the Ten of Pentacles popped out too. So we'll try to talk about that too some way. But just so you guys see them. So with the Queen of Cups in reverse here, this is all about, so the Queen of Cups upright, right? She's, you know, emotional. She's very nurturing and loving, very emotionally open, but grounded as well. Um, in the reverse, though, you know, if you think of like a queen who's not very queenly, like I think like Cersei in Game of Thrones, right? Of course, she's very regal and all that, but like she's not Marjorie Tyrell, right? Um, Marjorie, I feel like, is very Queen of Cups energy in the upright. Um, but in the reverse, you know, queens in the reverse are very controlling, you know, domineering, gossipy, you know, they just don't, they're just not as, it's like the Wicked Witch, or not the Wicked Witch, but the Wicked Stepmother in, or the Evil Queen, I'm trying to say, in Snow White. That's the kind of energy that the Queen of Cups in reverse is. So I feel like, you know, perhaps there's been also cups in reverse can be, I mean, suits. The face cards in the cups suit, when they show up in reverse, a lot of the time that points to like emotional manipulation, right? So perhaps there's been some sort of emotional manipulation here, or a sense of, you know, feeling controlled, or um, tied down in some way, shape, or form. Here it says reversed. It's about, you know, codependency and insecurity. So I think maybe, you know, not seeing each other very clearly with this moon energy, being confused and stuff, has led to you guys feeling kind of insecure about the relationship in and of itself. If the emotional connection was real, maybe. Um, that's what I'm getting here. Um, but whatever is happening here, you know, it's giving you guys both inspiration and drive to, you know, do something. That's what the aces are all about, right? They're raw potential. And the Ace of Wands is all about, creative sparks or, passion projects, or what else does it say here? Yeah, urge to create, desire, willpower, growth, all of those things. So I feel like what perhaps, with this confusion and this kind of emotional insecurity, not knowing if this connection was real or, you know, maybe some emotional manipulation was involved here that caused some confusion between you guys. But I feel like, all of this emotional stuff, all of this confusion has given you guys the drive and the inspiration, which is interesting that the 10 popped out because I feel like it does resonate here, to, focus on your own foundations and building something lasting and, strong for yourselves. Like both of you have been inspired by whatever this fallout, whatever this confusion is, whatever this emotional manipulation may have been. It's inspired you both to focus on your own legacies, if that makes sense. And I don't mean necessarily like physical, money related things, but I mean, what legacy are you leaving for your kids? What medallion are you passing for your kids and, down your line? So yeah, I think, and clearly, again, there's been some pain and confusion and, is it worth going on anymore with between you guys? But again, with the lovers, there's that draw that you guys can't shake. Again, I feel like, whatever's happened emotionally um, has caused confusion, but at the same time, it's given you guys inspiration to focus on building something lasting and for yourselves, I should say. And then the last set of cards here, we have the Six of Wands, the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Cups. So perhaps, again, the Six of Wands is all about being celebrated and being recognized, right? But it can also point to ego. That's kind of like the shadow side of the Six of Wands, being driven by your ego. I feel like this has sort of maybe been happening for both of you. Again, with the Seven of Swords, well, I haven't talked about the Seven of Swords yet, but the Seven of Swords is all about, kind of dishonesty and trickery, not being very forward with things. Here it says betrayal, deception, getting away with something, acting strategically. So I feel like, if the shadow sides of the Six of Wands are at play here, this ego, perhaps that's caused some sort of dishonesty between you guys. Perhaps both of your egos have caused you guys to not be completely transparent with one another. Perhaps there has been some sort of shady business going on. I mean, with the fox for your person's energy, foxes can be seen as kind of shady sometimes. They're not very, open with their plans a lot of the time. Foxes are very sly and, work under the radar. So, perhaps something like that has come into play for you guys. And, with the Seven of Cups here, this is all kind of like being emotionally overwhelmed, feeling like you have too many choices or kind of being like stuck in sort of like a daydreamy kind of energy or illusions too. So with both of these cards here, it seems like, there has been some sort of dishonesty and, an illusion here. Perhaps it came to light and that you guys both recognized this, or it came to light and had an effect on both of you in some sort of way, shape, or form. Well, in the ways that it clearly is. But yeah, so I get the sense that ego has came into play for you guys. Some trickery, deception, and overwhelm, which probably caused you both in some way to back down or shut down or act from a place of your wounded energies instead of your healed, heightened versions of yourself, your soul versions of yourselves. So yeah, I get that ego played a part in some sort of trickery or deception, and it caused some emotional overwhelm for sure with the Seven of Cups here. But I feel like it came to light, like it became noticed by both parties with the Six of Wands, if that makes sense, because it's all about being recognized, right? So I feel like, perhaps this kind of shifty, shady, illusionary energy became apparent for both of you. That caused this kind of big kind of ending. It caused, you guys to feel kind of beaten up. It caused confusion and it caused emotional, you know, unease. But again, at the same time, it's inspired you both to work on yourselves and the legacies that you are leaving for the people behind you. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. I hope something in there resonated with you guys. If it did, again, please, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. But we're going to close out your reading now with some Sacred Creator Oracle cards. We'll read from the book, we'll pull your advice, and then we will end your video there. So thank you, Spirit, for everything, but for your help and guidance and support in this reading. Can we please get a final closing message for our Libra viewers' energy? What's one final message we can leave with them? Collaboration of souls. This came out yesterday for Gemini too. This is about being open to, soul partnerships, arrangements, people who come into your life that will help you elevate yourself and, become this best version of yourself that you want to be. So basically it's about just being open to people who are coming into your life and knowing that, any kind of significant relationships that you have are meant to help you transform into the highest version of yourself. That's the essential meanings there. Of course, again, we'll read from the book, but thank you, Spirit. Can we get one final closing message for our Libra viewers' person's energy? What's one final closing message for our Libra viewers' person's energy? Bliss is worth creating from, for, from. So very interesting. This card is all about saying, like, happiness is what drives creativity, right? So they're saying happiness is worth creating from, but then they change their mind, right? And say that it's worth creating in order to find bliss, right? But then they cross that out and then they put from again. Because when you work from bliss, when you work from happiness, when you work from truth, more and more opportunities are going to present themselves to you because you just become more magnetic. Thank you, Spirit. Can we get one final closing message for this energy between our Libra viewer and their person? Just breathe energy. One final closing message for the energy between our Libra viewer and their person. One final closing message for the energy between our Libra viewer and their person. My goodness. Raw intention is what came out. So I feel like what this is saying, one, this is very kind of like Ace of Wands, which you guys did get between you guys. But I feel like what that is saying is that there's like some sort of raw potential here, or like, what am I trying to say? Raw intention. 22 as well, so 22 could be significant. It's like having the drive, raw intention. It's like having the drive to push things forward, right? But we're going to see what it says in the book. But we'll start with you. Collaboration of souls is number 6. This is also lover's energy. So, collaboration of souls. The essential meanings here are sacred partnerships, lovers, a collaboration of like-minded and like-hearted people, yada, yada, yada. So your greatest asset is the soul connection you make with others, and those that you make and foster at this time will bring fruitful change to your life. Which sacred unions are you pursuing? Long-term commitments and strategic partnerships are based on trust, love, respect, and an alignment of values, and it's time to actively call collaboration partners into your life. Mentors, clients, friends, lovers. Whom do you intend to dance with? You have a choice, and this mutually beneficial union will be a merging of 2 or more interconnected souls who are veritable kindred spirits. By clearly defining who you are, what you desire, and what you need, you will help them recognize you as you set out to find one another. Know what you want and what you do not, I should say, and seek an open and honest exchange with others. When your actions are a truthful reflection of the relationships you expect to find, the perfect people will show up at exactly the right time. So yeah, like I said, be open to, finding community, be open to maybe any new people who come into your life. Maybe this person's going to come back. I do kind of see that. Again, they got 2 knights on their side, and, they want to offer some sort of love to you. um, so yeah, just stay open. Stay open to that, because they're going to lead you to your growth, or more of your growth. So let's look at this. Bliss is worth creating from for your person. So this card, the essential meanings are in flow with the universe, passionately creating, being on purpose, finding the things that make your heart sing. So I feel like your person is focusing on these things. It makes sense in a way, with this eternal child energy, that they're kind of like la-di-da, you know what I mean? But here's what the message says. So bliss attracts bliss. When you decide to live with bliss in your heart, you call more of the good stuff into your life. This is Manifestation 101, and rather conveniently, bliss is the end game and the vehicle to take you there. Tap into it, and it can power your dreams. Find it daily, and you've got a badass success strategy. Think about it. Wouldn't bliss help you to build things a lot quicker? Wouldn't your dream feel a whole lot closer if you remembered that you had bliss on tap whenever you needed it? Do you desire a higher tolerance for risk, increased productivity, to rid your systems of toxins and stress? You can rewire your brain to pump out the happy hormones that make it all possible. So find more joy in your life and give yourself an edge when facing challenges. If you've been working on it already, keep going. If you've been neglecting some aspect of your self-care, this card is a loving wake-up call that your creativity may be suffering because of your current mindset, mental health, physical vitality, or waning commitment to a daily practice. It's time to do the work, sweet soul, because wiring your life for joyful bliss is your best success strategy. So I feel like your person is trying to, connect with this sense of, bliss and happiness and enjoying just life. They're searching for their happiness. They're kind of digging for it, is what I'm getting, because they know that joy begets joy, right? So yeah, they're focusing on their happiness. They're finding balance again. They're asking the tough questions. They're going deep. There's some sort of big transformation and change that took place with the death card. And, they know they need to bring balance to this. But they're searching for their happiness, all in all. Sorry, I'm just seeing if anything else jumps out at me. No, it says it's time to do the work because wiring your life for joyful bliss is your best success strategy. So I feel like that's what your person's trying to do. They're doing the work so they can find their bliss and their joy, which may be you, to be honest. But yeah, they're focusing on trying to be happy. They're trying to find balance. They're doing the work. And they do want to come towards you. Again, you got the Knight of Cups, and then you got the Knight of Swords and charging toward this Ten of Cups. Maybe there's a little hesitation, wondering if all the work is going to be worth it, or wondering if it's even worth it to come towards you still. But I do want to focus on being happy and doing the things that make them happy, because they know that will bring them more happiness. All right, let's look at this raw intention energy between you guys. It's number 22. So raw intention. The essential meanings here are intention brought to life, wild power, savage love, divine intervention, powerful inspiration, and channeling messages from source. So I feel like this is saying that this entire connection has been raw intention for your own growth, for both of your growths, if that makes sense. So intention can be raw or it can be refined. Refined intention gets polished and perfected and turned into marketing, a resume, a vision board, and it is always tinted by layers of our own perception. Raw intention is wilder than that. It's pure, unrefined, and authentic. It's the mother who lifts a car with her bare hands to save her child because raw power does not ask questions, it just does. I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting from this lover's energy too. Like the raw feelings, the raw intention is there between you guys. I just had a crazy sense of deja vu. Wild. Okay. But anyway, I'm saying this connection has been raw intention, kind of like fuel for both of your fires. For you to kind of clear out your wounds, overcome your negative or your toxic things, find self-fulfillment, step into your power. And then for your person, it's caused them to ask why, to try to find balance, to find, accountability with justice. But anyway, so raw intention, it just does, and so it is. By virtue of simply being human, you have this wild and natural magic inside you. And you may be spending too much time filtering your raw power as a way to fit in or as a way to be who others want you to be. Unleash your pure intention, and you will radiate so much innate magic that you'll move mountains. Allow spontaneity and divine love to guide you, and pay attention to whim, desire, inclination, and impulse. If you notice any unwanted emotions surfacing, like anger, sadness, fear, or guilt, simply be with them. Hear them, notice them, ask them why they are present, and they will likely point to a much deeper need that sounds something like, I am seen, I am loved, I am accepted, I am safe. Remind yourself that you are all of these things and draw your power from there. Sorry, I had to burp. So yeah, I get the sense that this energy between you is really intense, but it's kind of been the fuel that you guys needed to do the work that you guys needed to do on yourselves at the end of the day. So yeah, that's your reading, Libra. I hope something in here resonated with you guys or with some of you. Obviously, this is a general reading. It's not going to connect with everybody in every way, shape, or form. But hopefully most of you guys were able to find something. So let's go ahead and close out your reading with one final card for Spirit's advice for you. Thank you so much for your love and guidance and support in this message, in this reading, Spirit. Can we please get one final closing piece of advice for our Libra viewer? What is one final piece of advice that they can take away from this reading? Thank you, Spirit. One final piece of advice for our Libra viewer. One final piece of advice. The fates. So this is all about stuff happening kind of outside of your control. the universe kind of conspiring to make things happen. So I feel like your advice here is to just kind of release things and let things unfold as they will naturally. But let's see what the book says. So the Fates is number 17. Let's find it. 17, the Fates. So yeah, fate, karma, acceptance that there are things you cannot change, and knowing what those things are. So yeah, just kind of accepting things for what they are. Libra is basically your advice, because there's nothing that you can do other than working on yourself that's gonna force this connection to move forward. You guys both need the space to breathe right now, to process, and to, you know, do your respective the work. Do the work you guys are working on. So the Oracle's message here is the Serenity Prayer sums up the meaning of this card. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There are things in life you will never have control over. The conditions brought on by the evolution of the collective, by nature, and by your past experiences may be fated, preordained by spirit for a greater purpose you cannot understand in this lifetime. It may not be in your cards to understand why certain events occurred, but you can accept the mystery and work with what those events and your current circumstances have to teach you. This is the wisdom contained in the Serenity Prayer. So the relationship message here is other people are who they are. You can't change them. The challenge is to accept them as they are and not try to make them otherwise to suit you. This is the time to look at how you attempt to mold people to fit your view. What did I talk about earlier about expectations? Anyway, this is the time to look at how you attempt to mold people to fit your view of how they should be so you can remain in the relationship and avoid discomfort. What if who they are and whatever is happening between you and them in the situation is perfect from the perspective of spirit? Because it's causing you both to grow and change and evolve. Now is the time to accept what you cannot change, even if it means that you honor yourself, spirit, and the other person by moving on. Love unconditionally, for each of us is on our own journey, and we cannot direct that of another. Be aware that this relationship is indeed fated, and you are meant to evolve into a better version of yourself as a result of it. That's just like huge confirmation of this whole reading. So yeah, surrender, Libra. Trust that this kind of situation is out of your control for the most part. Right now, you guys need the space to breathe so you can grow and change. And this situation is forcing both of you to evolve and grow in really powerful, profound ways. So yeah, give it up to the fates, give it up to spirit. Let spirit decide how this connection is going to move forward. You guys just keep focusing on building yourselves up. So yeah, all right. Thank you guys so much for being here, Libra. Again, I hope this resonated for you. If it did, I'm going to ask again that you please like, share, comment, subscribe. And otherwise, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or night or evening, whatever time it is for you right now. And we will see you in the next one. All right, take care.